All right. Welcome everyone back to the unofficial, maybe relaunch of the Bit Obscene podcast brought to you by Darling Data and Beer Gut Magazine. I've got my temporary co-host Joe Obbish here. We'll see how he does this time around. And today Joe is really excited. You can tell by the look in his face. Look at it, look at that face. That's an excited man. Joe is excited to talk about ordered column store indexes, which correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. I'm sorry, I have to get rid of his background. It's making me look like an insane person. It came out with SQL Server 2022. It's made maybe some progress uh, in SQL Server 2025 that but no one knows because SQL Server 2025 is, of course, the unofficial AI and Fabric release. SQL Server is build third on that one. So maybe there's nothing good for SQL Server in it. But anyway, take it away, Mr. Robish.
First of all,
Oh, shoot. Here we go.
I learned that my dear friend Eric is
Mhm.
now living under communist rule. And I thought, what's a small token gesture that I can do to appear like I care and I want to help, but not really do much? And I thought, oh, I can just show up as a guest on his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm here. Uh, I'm in full solidarity with Eric. I'm wearing the plain white T-shirt. He'll probably be wearing one in a couple of months, along with everybody else in New York City. But I'm here to help Eric. We're all pulling for you.
All right. Thanks, Ben. Hopefully, my means of production are seized in a gentle way.
So for Order to Comstor, Eric and I actually both blogged about this a few days apart, even back in 2022. And the
No
way I
collusion.
remember it was, that's right, no collusion. The way I remember it was Brent blogged about it, and he's like, "Hey, I tried this and it didn't work." And Eric and I live to serve, so we both took our own little look at it. Um, I think Eric can have the links in the description,
Oh
and
yeah.
then the viewers can vote on who did it better. We can
Mhm.
get some engagement maybe. Um,
Of course, there's no voting in communism, Joe. So
that's that's a good point. I take it all back. Now, I'll admit that I haven't looked at it since. I remember ending the blog post like, "Oh, this is CTP 2.0 or whatever. Maybe Microsoft will make it better." Wink, wink. Now they like never do, um, but I haven't looked at it. I'm assuming it's not better. If they did make it better, feel free to let us know in the comments. Now, in terms of what, okay, so why does ordered column store exist? So there's a very old workaround for column store where you create a clustered index on the row you want to order by first, and then you create a column store index with max top one second. The idea there being it was like it's like an unofficial way to get like an ordered column store after you built it.
that's where you create the clustered index on the table on some column or key columns, and then you do the clustered column store index with drop existing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
right. And like that could be improved. You're writing the data twice. It's a bit of a annoying workaround. So I guess like from my point of view, getting rid of that workaround could be a good thing. Because now you can just create a clustered column or index with ordering. The problem is, and this is the thing that Brent blogged about, it's not always ordered,
Oops.
which isn't off to a good start. But like I'm even gonna set that aside. So I found that when you add ordering, SQL Server is making three changes. First being when you create the index, it'll add a sort operator. It's a soft sort. There are all kinds of reasons why the data isn't going to be fully sorted. When you're doing an insert into the table, it'll again add a sort. And then once again, the data might not actually be sorted or it'll be sorted in an unintuitive way. And then when you're doing a rebuild, it once again adds a sort. And we're 3 for 3, and that sort may also not fully sort the data.
So,
So that's what the feature does. My big beef with it is how it changes the insert queries. But you had a comment there?
oh, I was going to say we're now at three sorts and actually no sorting.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right, I'm gonna ask you a non-trick question. You ready?
I know what that means.
Why are clustered indexes generally useful?
Why are clustered indexes generally useful? Well, there are lots of reasons why they're generally useful.
Looking
Um,
for the simplest,
the
easiest
simplest,
answer.
well, it gives you free access to all of the columns in the table in an ordered fashion.
Yes, yes. It's because the data is sorted, right? The
Mhm.
data is sorted globally. If you insert some old data according to your key, it'll do the page splitting and the data is always sorted. Now, what if I told you that we created a new type of index and it was kind of sorted? And
Sort
whenever
of
you
sorted.
and whenever you inserted new data, it would sort the new data you inserted and append it at the end of the table. And it would keep doing that. So whenever you do an insert, it'll locally sort that data and append it at the end. Does that sound very useful to you?
Let me just make sure I have the right mental model of this. Let's say you have a table with a million rows in it, and it's the numbers 1 through 1 million, and they're in order. And then you insert 10,000 rows to it. Instead of those 10,000 rows, let's just say they're also the numbers 1 through 10,000, so they fit in with the numbers 1 through 1 million. So instead of the numbers being dispersed in the table where they should be, it would just be like an appendage on the table with the rows in order from 1 to 10,000. So it would be like 1 to 1 million and then 1 to 10,000.
Yes,
Mm,
yes, that's correct.
mm.
And that's the fundamental problem from my point of view with order to column store. Like I find that kind of worse than though we're gonna not sort the data always for you. Other people could disagree because like it's if you have clustered indexes, you have your AK pages, they can be split, all kinds of great things can happen.
Mhm.
You have column store, you have your compressed row groups. Like for there isn't any reasonable way, like if you're loading a million new rows, like it's not gonna find the most appropriate compressed row group, uncompress it, add the new data, and then recompress it. That would take forever. Like it's just not gonna do that. Like it's going to append the data at the end.
I'm
And that's
surprised though that on rebuild, it doesn't like fix that.
it could fix it
It
if
could.
your sort manages to work fully. Yeah, it
Okay,
could.
great.
Good.
So
Um,
what makes a sort work fully or not?
there's a number of things, how much memory you have, how much data you have, what DOP you're at, which brings me to something which, man, I have these great notes that I'm like not reading. So, like one of the one of the annoying things about the old workaround to get like pseudo-ordered column stores before 2022,
Hmm.
the cluster index and
Hmm.
CCI is you have to create the CCI at max top one,
Hmm.
which could be slow for a big table. Read the documentation for ordered column store. It says if you create the index in parallel, it's not going to be ordered. And in fact, if you want perfect ordering, it
Max stop one.
yeah, max top one. So like we
So are
haven't
you
even like
better off
gotten
just doing the
anywhere.
old message? The old method rather?
I the problem I view the sorts during insert as not that useful or even harmful in some
Hmm.
cases. And you get this partial to full sort when creating the index, but like the penalty for that is you lose online rebuilds.
Mm.
At least on 2022. In 2025, they're adding online rebuilds to order to Columnstore.
Okay.
So if you ask me if it was worth it, I would say you should just partition your tables, but I'm going to try to make my case a bit better. On the subject of inserts, so let's say you have an ordered comps for index because You're in 2022 and you
Yeah.
use all the new features as soon as they come out because
Read the documentation. You're hot on the heels. Why not?
yeah, why not? Now, if you're inserting less than a million rows per partition, what's going to happen? Well, it's going to sort the data pointlessly,
Yep.
and then it's going to try to compress it into a single row group. If you get some kind of what's it called? Pressure, dictionary pressure, memory pressure,
Hmm.
whatever, you can get multiple row groups. But like in general, like that sort's not useful. Like if it's almost like sorting like a single 8K page before you insert the data, which maybe it happens, but like it's not doing anything for you. Now you might say, all right, well, what if I insert more than a million rows? What if I insert 10 million rows at a time? Well,
It's an ambitious insert.
first of all, if you have like like a normal ETL load where you're like loading like yesterday's data, it's going to be like new data, probably,
Hmm.
right? So the thing you want to order by is probably for like yesterday's date. So it's not going to matter in that case. Or like let's suppose you're loading a week of data at a time because you live under communism, you're not going to work every day of the week, right? Right. So in that case, you have a week of data, 10 million rows. If it's ordered, then your row groups have like 1 to 3 days of data instead of 7. And if you happen to run a select query, which is like, looking at a single day in that range, then maybe you read a couple of fewer row groups.
Maybe.
That's not, yeah, maybe like that's not really giving you a whole lot in terms of performance,
No, but I think I
in
think
my
that gets
experience anyway.
I think that gets back to your point though about if this is something that you care deeply about, regardless of ordered column store, like, but if your table is truly that large and you're truly doing that sort of ETL, with like what you're talking about, where there's daily loads, truly the most sensible thing to do is have that table partitioned by some date that that gets you like, I mean, maybe not like from a data loading perspective, from like a like querying that data later perspective, that at least gets you the partition elimination and then segment elimination based on, the criteria for your query looking for data for some date range.
I agree fully, and I'm gonna jump into my demo ahead of time.
Ooh, ooh,
My poor notes, they're basically just, the chaos of Eric Darling is just,
down the memory hole where they
yeah.
go.
All right. Can you see the beautiful modern SSMS and
I
all
I
its
can. Is that
uh
21 or 22?
it's the newest one.
SSMS 22 preview?
I I
It's
think so.
glorious. It's glorious. Look at it.
Oh, it's 21.
21.6.17.
Wow, wait,
Wow.
I'm already out of date, I
Oh,
guess.
man.
That's too bad.
Check for an
All
update
right.
too.
All right. All right. I have to hear this stuff. All right. So,
What's that trace flag? It
my
looks, what's that trace flag, Joe?
Microsoft has heard my desperate pleas
Yep.
on the subject of
Hmm.
partitioning is super important for Columnstore. So why do I say that? It's the same reason you said it. If you partition logically, then that's going to force all the groups together. It basically gives you like a minimum sort of segment elimination free. Like no matter how badly the developers load the data, if it's a row at a time, if it's 100,000 rows at a time, if they don't load the data correctly the first time, they delete it and update over and over again. The data is still in that partition. Even if you don't get partition elimination, you can still get segment elimination. Um, I mean, I would go further and say that I've never had a Columnstore performance issue get resolved by, well, we had bad segment elimination because the data wasn't ordered. So we were reading like 20 row groups, and then we made the segment elimination perfect, and now we're reading 3, and performance is like amazing because we got rid of those 17 compressed row groups. Like I've never seen that. The things I've seen are you have a big table, it's not partitioned at all. Data is basically in a random order. you can get hurt there. Or you have like a billion soft deleted rows that never got cleaned up. I've seen that in production, that'll hurt you. Or even just like all the normal performance issues that you can find with really any query. Like for me, it has never been like I'm partitioning my data by quarter or whatever, but whoa, my data is too unordered within the 3 month window. And like I really need that perfect segment elimination. Like I've never seen that. Maybe there's somebody with high frequency trading or online gambling who's like super hardcore and they really need those perfect pristine row groups, in which case I would think that, a sort that might not sort isn't good enough.
Definitely not.
And you gotta fix your ETL anyway. Anyway, I'm a big fan of partitioning, and Microsoft has heard my pleas. They gave me permission to introduce this new trace flag 58008. We go ahead and turn it on. All right, it's turned on. And now I'm going to try to create a column store index on a big table, which I'm creating an unpartitioned index. I'm trying to. That.
This
Oh,
is
look at that.
this is not safe for children.
Look at that. The operation failed because the table is too big. Create a partition column store index instead.
Ah,
Finally, SQL Server is finally stopping us from making dumb mistakes and bad decisions. Isn't this great?
this is
Now,
fantastic.
I'm sure, maybe you're a DBA who thinks they always know better, or, like it's important to be able to, have full control of the software. So we have this new create bad index mode option. And if we set it to on, then we can avoid Microsoft's guardrails. So I'm really excited about this new feature. We can finally, encourage people to partition their damn tables, which I think is really, it's probably like I'd say it's the most important thing if you're doing column store at any
Yeah,
like reasonable size. Like
yeah.
you got those tables partitioned. Great performance, ETL, maintenance. There's just so many reasons to do it. And I've seen what happens when you don't do it, and it is not pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do a ton of production work with Columnstore. I do a bit, but most of the tables that I run into that are column stored are well beyond like, my ability to have my consultant weigh with them and like maybe go back and partition them or, do anything useful in that way. I wish more people would involve me in like the implementation of something rather than like the, hey, all of a sudden this sucks thing. I'm just like, well, guess what? At 3 billion rows, we're a little past the point where we can easily do this. So, um, not undoable, but certainly makes the experience a little bit more painful. But a lot of what I run into is people who have like row store partition tables because they bought into the meme that partitioning tables makes queries faster with row store indexes, and boy are they surprised when they start doing things like min queries and max queries and even some like some other types of queries. All of a sudden they can't just like like start at one end of an index and get something. Like they all of a sudden they have to scan every single like index and like like all of the partitions, and you're again like why didn't you call me like 5 years ago when you first got this bad idea in your head? So for the folks out there who have perhaps large column store tables implemented, but did not have the foresight, and certainly at this point may or may not have the hindsight to partition their large clustered column store tables. Is there any hope? Is there anything they can do to make their lives better or easier? Or do you just recommend creating the partition column store table and loading data over and doing the old SP rename switcheroo?
I don't remember how I did it because it was so long ago, but we had that same problem where we had 300 customers at the data warehouse. nothing was partitioned. Some tables had billions or tens of billions of rows, and we did ship the code to make that happen. Um, how did we do it? I don't remember how we did it. I think we just did the usual scam of, oh, you're now in a maintenance window, and we're going to rewrite all of your data. I think we had like a lot of parallel jobs doing the inserts.
Sure.
There is some trickery there. It definitely wasn't easy, but if you want to make the best long-term decision, you got to have partitioning. It's only going to get worse the longer it goes on without partitioning. Um, in terms of this new feature, ordered column store, I mean, maybe it's better than nothing. There probably are some use cases where it's okay or better than status quo. I do think it's kind of fundamentally flawed and that, as we talked about, your group's already compressed. You're not going to uncompress them to get perfect segment elimination. And that's just like an unsolvable problem pretty much. Like,
Mm.
the new data you load, at best, it's going to sort that, but it might not even do it. You might get a partial sort, or if you're doing parallel insert, it's just not going to work in the way you're expecting. That's covered in the blog post I did.
Yep.
Um,
So I'm looking at the 2025 notes here, and apparently Microsoft has really expanded its repertoire of 75% complete features by adding ordered non-clustered column store indexes. So we're very excited for that, aren't we?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a big that's it's gonna change the data landscape forever.
I was actually trying to fathom like why ordered column store even exists.
Hmm.
I do remember hearing a rumor about the SQL variant
Hmm.
data type where
Hmm.
like some big important customer gave Microsoft a really big bag of money, and then Microsoft implemented the SQL variant data type just for them, and all of us get to benefit from it. So like maybe it was that. Maybe there is some customer who's like, hey, we had this big problem. We really need order to column store, and they managed to convince them without the big bag of money. Maybe. I have a third theory though, without any factual basis whatsoever. But I feel like it's
Those
a
are my
good
favorite kind of
narrative,
theories.
so like, I'm just gonna throw it out there. Like they're like really there are like two things that DBAs love, right? First one is a good clean demo. Second one is attempting to remove fragmentation.
Mm.
And the problem with Columnstore is it offers you both. Because like what's the easiest possible demo to do with Columnstore? Oh, I load my data like a total dumbass, and now I'm not getting any segment elimination. I can view the little print screen and it says segments eliminated 0, segments read 99 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I heroically load my data the right way, and now it's ordered, and now the little numbers in the segments. I'm skipping segments, doing less work. Like I've done that demo, you've
Hmm.
done that demo, like everyone's
Mm.
done that demo. It's really easy to do that demo.
Yeah.
So you see all these blog posts talking about how great and easy and important segment elimination is, but nobody talks about partitioning. So
No
so
one.
like
Yeah.
the important thing, do the ease of demoing it become a single elimination. And then there's the second thing, right? Who doesn't like getting fragmentation? How many people are still rebuilding all their indexes every night,
Too
right?
many.
Too
Too many,
many.
Joe.
You gotta get rid of fragmentation, right? So I feel like there's just way too much importance on that subject. Um, I mean, I already said, practically speaking, what I think people should do. I think partitioning is way more important. And, like, it's even worse because, like, I don't know, like I've seen plenty of questions like, what? Column indexes aren't ordered? This is totally useless. Microsoft needs to add ordering. Like I've seen that come up a lot, and like maybe finally Microsoft listened to the community when they shouldn't have, and now we had this super half-baked feature that can like never truly work, which sorts the data sometimes and removes online index rebuilds and adds pointless sorts and so on.
You know, pointless sorts are like, I don't know, I think a good chunk of the SQL Server source code.
Um, so in terms of what I want, I already showed what I want, the magic new trace flag.
Mm,
So that's great. Look forward to that. I kind of feel like maybe like how there's the sort and temp TB option,
hmm
which only applies during index creates or
Yep.
rebuilds.
Yep.
I think that would have been better. Like, hey, you're creating columns or index, like say which column you want to order by. It'll make a attempt to do it,
hmm
and it's not going to fundamentally change every insert, and it's not going to remove online rebuilds because it's just something that happens like once during creation.
hmm
And if you're the kind of guy who's like rebuilding your indexes every night, well, it's going to be offline now. Like maybe that works for you, maybe it doesn't. I don't know, but
At max stop one, right?
yeah, like I don't know. I don't think this is a very good feature. And if you read the documentation, like there isn't anything even about inserts. It's just all like, oh, we'll sort the data and or maybe we won't, but even partially sorted data will improve query store performance. Like they make it sound like a no-brainer, and I just think it's fatally flawed, due to the whole. Once again, we're not gonna uncompress row groups and slice and dice and surgically insert things.
No, I honestly like this should be one of those things where like when you use it, uh, like so there are other database systems where like you can like create a table and partition it all in one go, right? Like SQL Server, you have to like create the partition function and partition scheme. Other databases, you can be like create table with like and like has like this like with partition as syntax type thing, which is like when you write a window function and you're like partition by blah blah. Like you can write the table as like partitioning by that, and you can specify like the column and like the partitioning like ranges for it. I think that with ordered Columnstore, uh, like if it's not on a partition table, like it should force you to choose a like whatever columns you're ordering by, it should force partitioning on those columns. Like I don't
That's
care.
that's just interesting.
I don't care if it like I don't care if it makes a stupid choice doing that. Not doing that is a stupider choice than any choice you could make in that. Like just
Yeah, no, that's
bucket things somehow. Like just like
yeah,
why?
that's interesting. I mean, I don't, yeah, I think they'd be scared to try to pick partitions for you because,
Of course they
it's,
would, but
yeah.
you know.
But yeah, no, it's definitely a good point. Possibly even superior to my, you can be able to trace log to tell you when you're being an idiot or not.
So how does that trace flag decide what a too big table is?
That's under NDA, so
Okay,
I
it's
can't talk about it.
proprietary. All right,
Yeah,
gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha. Well, maybe hopefully someday you'll be able to write anonymously on some blog about the thresholds for when a column is too big for
Well,
you.
I mean, so the great thing is if I violate NDA on your blog,
Yep,
everyone's gonna think that you wrote it, so I won't
that's
even get in
true.
trouble.
That's
You'll get
true.
in trouble.
I won't get in
So
trouble.
really,
I
there's
don't
no
have an
downside.
NDA. What NDA do I have?
Oh, okay, all right.
Can't sue me if there's no paperwork, man.
Okay, all right. That's
Yeah,
that's the defense you're going with, huh?
yeah.
Okay.
I was drunk when I wrote it. I was just guessing. I didn't sign any paperwork unless I was drunk when I signed the paperwork. So make your own decisions there.
I mean, I understand why they do NDAs. It's certainly annoying. I remember I was once told by Dr. No that Here's some information that's under NDA, but I already knew it.
Yeah.
So you're gonna tell me something I already know, and now it's
Yeah.
under NDA, and I can't tell the people?
No. Like
No,
I already had that information.
I already knew it.
That's why you have to
Believe
blog
it or
about
not,
everything.
believe it or not, I see what you did there. Yeah, believe it or not, we can figure out things on our own sometimes.
So the real trick of what to do is to write the blog post, but put the posting date as like a month before anyone said anything to you, and then publish it, and then be like, well, when did you tell me that? Oh, such and such a date. Well, this post was published a month before that.
That's
It's
good.
not covered by NDA.
I bet everyone who's watching this is learning a lot, getting a lot of good tips.
Look, there's one thing I'm good for, it's sound legal advice.
So that was all my complaints about or Columnstore. I don't think it's very good. I think you should partition your tables. That's going to do way more for you. But I mean, maybe there's some workload out there where this is the best thing since communism, and they'll get a lot of value out of it.
Well, I think the only thing that we can say about this feature that it truly is for the people. It's free, kind of. For $7,000 a core, it's free. Maybe not. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to workshop that one. But I
I
don't have any specific complaints about ordered column store. My complaints are far more generalized in that you know, like okay, you're gonna spend development time and cycles on another feature that's 60, 70% done and like try to get us excited about it. And then, they trot poor Bob Ward out to another conference and everyone's like, oh, like, what are the internals? Like, get the debugger, Bob. And then poor Bob has to sit there and be like, man, there's no debugger for it. All right. Sorry. Like, it's just like one of those things. It's like we're supposed to get excited about like this thing that is like not solving a problem for 99% of the SQL Server users out there.
so I think the analogy you wanted before was think about a parallel rebuild
Mm,
of an ordered columns for index.
hmm
You have all these individual threads, they're all working together,
hmm
but by the end of it, they haven't accomplished anything. Just like communism.
Man, you're gonna get me like flagged in the EU with this one. I'm gonna get I'm not gonna be allowed to travel internationally
Well,
when this goes live.
no, Bill, you should have it go live after you've fled the earth.
Well, maybe Elon will take me to Mars. I can open up a saloon somewhere in a gully or that'd be nice.
Probably not a lot of demand for SQL Server consultants on Mars.
But there will be for saloons because it's gonna be the new Wild West. Nice place you can, you know, chai up your robot horse buggy thing, go in for a nice cold beer, Mars beer, and take a load off. You know, it'll be like just the old time. We'll have one of those pianos that plays itself. It'll be great. Got a whole vision here.
Okay.
My original plan to open a bar on the beach in Bora Bora, I think that market is saturated at this point. So I'm going for a saloon on Mars.
I wish you well. I
Thank you.
don't drink, as you know,
It's true.
so I'm not going to be able to support you.
That's why you're going to be the perfect bartender. I can trust you not to drink up my whole supply of Mars beer. Unless, Mars beer is just so delicious you change your mind. Or you get bored on Mars. Then again, you're not bored in Wisconsin, so you can I don't know where you could get bored. Sorry, did I give away too much personal
Oh
information
yeah, I
there?
mean, kind of. I actually thought you stopped recording a long time ago, but apparently you're still going.
Oh, no, do you want me to stop recording?
Yeah, that would
Oh.
be good.
Oh, all right, cool. All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to the mildly resuscitated Bit Obscene podcast with my temporary co-host Joe Obish. As always, this is brought to you by Darling Data and the kind folks at Beer Gut Magazine who supply me with stickers and magazine covers. So, thank you. And I'm going to hit the button now. All right.